Citizens, how's your spirit? It is February 14th, 11:45, 2026. My name is Janine Christie Hill, and right now my camera's not working because the hackers are doing the best that they can to stop me from telling you the truth about a story I'm going to tell. Turn my camera on so you can see that even though you don't see me, it's because they are messing with my device. This is all that they have left. So I'm going to turn my camera off again so that you can see that I'm talking. Now, if you were to go and look at my Facebook channel right now, you'll see that I did a live earlier where I was outside discussing the fact that my younger sister stole my identity when she was a young girl. After our mother passed away, our mother passed away 30 years ago this year. Okay? It goes a little something like this. My husband comes home from work after you see them getting louder, right? 1:11 on the clock. That's because they now know that they're busted, broke down, and disgusted, and they want to be quiet, or all of them will be caught up on charges, including their tender age children, because you can't use them to commit a violent crime like murder and get away with it. Now back to I was pregnant with my eldest son when my mother was diagnosed with stomach cancer. We left Germany and came back to the United States. My husband, the following weekend, left and went to war. He was in Bosnia. When we called downrange to let him know that I had gone into labor and his son was about to be born, they got him back to the country. But instead of coming directly to me, he went to his family. When he gets to me, our eldest son is almost a week old. So he spends close to a month with us. On the day that we are taking him back to the airport, so for clarity, you're going to need to know this. My stepfather, my ex husband, myself, and the baby go to the airport. My older sister and our older sister are out for a walk, and my younger sister and my mother, who is bedridden, are left in the house alone. I always tell people that my mother chose the time to go because she knew that everybody was going to be okay with her passing. Okay. So we get a phone call at the airport. They call specifically for my father and my ex-husband, leaving me to sit there. And then they come back and tell me that we need to leave. I don't remember exactly when I was told, but I was told that my mother had died. And while we were en route to the house, my mother's body was picked up by hospice. Okay? So if you're keeping a beat with me, then you can see how it's easy to believe that my youngest sibling murdered my bedridden mother, who weighed less than 90 pounds at the time of her death. So a 16-year-old chunky girl could have at least certainly held our mother down until she took her last breath. Now, I don't want to say all that out loud. I pray that it wasn't true. And because of my belief system, it saved my life. When I got diagnosed with cancer, I left the family immediately because they wouldn't give my mom cannabis, which was the one thing that I believe would have saved her life. And now I'm a living witness to that too. So now I can testify all of it in open court, and that's what they do not want. So my younger sister sent my son some money to send to me so they could get PayPal caught up, but PayPal was already caught up for other banking reasons. But they held on to my money, you see, and they violated my banking rights. Let's put it that way, for short term. And then I told my son, "We'll take money from them again. This is for the people who've been copying. Someone stole my phone in the city of Tucson and they spoofed it, not knowing that my identity had already been stolen. And then a third party, excuse me, doxed me. And then a fourth party hacked me. Now you got like five or six individual human beings connected to organizations, some of them actual authorities in this case, who are all about to go down, along with the organizations that they work with. The organizations that they work for will not take as big a hit for 44 on the clock as the individual idiots who did this shit. I said that there was a cabal of coons who were out to get me because I was worth some money. Now, when you add in Kwame Brown, the city of Brunswick, Georgia, and the fact that I went to school there, my child went to Job Corps there, the young man that was sent here after him went to Job Corps with him, began trying to get at me way back then. And when my sibling heard that he was here, she told him, "Whatever you do, don't sleep with her." It sounds like she maybe knew something and was telling him something. Do you see what happens when people seek to weave a web of deceit? It comes back to them in the end. Every lie unravels faster than they could create it. They built this brick by brick. I'm tearing it down with a bulldozer. You understand? And then for the other ones, I'm using a chisel and a mallet because not all of them deserve absolute punishment. They are under judgment, and the Most High God will deal with it. I have to chisel out the truth, though. You see, remove away the lies. Right? They've been lying on a lot of people for a long time, including me. So as I prove my innocence, other people's innocence is revealed. And then the world can see what was your culpability in conspiring with these people against me. Does that make sense? That's what's known as collusion. You have to prove collusion in a racketeering case, in a criminal enterprise and or organization, that is. So by way of this happening since at least 1996, and in furtherance of the fact that they knew that I was a child of at least a rich man and come from a rich bloodline, as do both of my siblings, yet their fathers are not as rich as mine, or was at least. Do you understand? I'm a child of the Church of Scientology, you see. So when you go back that far, were they assisting Scientology in killing me? Was it a family plan for a half a century? See where things get tricky? And all those same entities that I chiseled out truth for in this particular case have another case that they have to deal with. They have to chisel out their own truth. And now that I've proven my innocence, I have nothing else to do but wait for their chickens to come home to roost. So here I sit, encouraging people once more not to copy me. It's nice to be inspired by someone. So on this Valentine's Day, I want to really show how much I inspired you by telling the truth. Open up your heart and say, hey, listen, I saw this woman's content. And she's the one who put me on to being a better person, to doing things differently, to listening to my parents, to eating right, to exercising, to believing in the Most High God, to praying every day, to putting away my hate, to focusing on the fact that we're all individuals. And when it comes down to it, we're one human race. And without that, we would not be okay. You get it? Cannabis is the great equalizer. It leveled the playing field immediately. I'm a cannabis advocate who knows the most. Cannabis advocates for the last half a century are in agreement with me. The medical industry is in agreement with me. De-stressing the lives of people is the number one rule that a doctor will tell you. They're in agreement with me. As someone who was going to get my medical marijuana degree, I am at the top of my field in many regions. I'm a top chef before I ever even left the culinary industry, and now I want to add cannabis to it. I'm worth trillions of dollars. Were I a slave and sold on an open market today? So they attempted to enslave me and the rest of the company and the community around me so they could eat off me for the next half a century at least. They all had access to my mail, and this is how you can tell. I don't have a physical address. It's part of the reason why I stayed homeless. My mail has always gone to my family members, my younger siblings specifically, and my stepfather. Now do you understand? Checks, everything would have gone through them all my life. All my life. The person who had my mail was my godmother. She had a bunch of it when I went to her house. I went through it, but they didn't. They went through my mail and gave me what they thought was me, which is what PayPal did when they went through my banking account and told me that they put a hold on my account because my son sent me money to my business account instead of my personal account. I questioned it. And they said, well, because it was their son. we put a block on it, which isn't true. They put a block on it for some other reason because my son is certainly able to support my business as a family member of mine. He could have been buying on Valentine's Day spiritual counseling from me. You see, as his mother, that's a different thing. He may have been purchasing the spiritual counsel for his auntie. And boy, did she get a lesson over on Facebook. It only cost her $9, $8.13 though, because that's what PayPal took. And she ain't getting the rest of it. She ain't getting none of it. And in fact, she got PayPal on the hook. That's the beauty of knowing when your rights have been violated. You have to know the law where you are in every which way. If you're in a new city, country, or state, you need to know their laws, you need to know their culture, and you need to know what the community is actually like. So you can tell the difference from the inside. Because eventually you'll become a resident and you'll be let in and you'll know more than you think you know. And they will know you know more than they thought you did, which is how they get caught up. Women from the South Side didn't like that I said something to a young woman who was otherwise thick in the hips. But it's because I met her as a young church going girl from Yuma. She showed up in some tight blue jeans and a t shirt. She was sexually assaulted, and she came back in a t shirt and some short shorts. And I said, well, why is your thigh meat out after what happened to you? Because we can go about it several ways when we are assaulted in that way. We become overly sexualized, which is what the women who were trying to turn them into prostitutes will encourage them to do. That was the women on the South Side. We can become closed off and cloistered and go into even more of a submissive state than just being a good young church girl. Or we can stand our ground, be who we are, and tell the truth to someone who will listen. So I listened to her and I asked her about what she was wearing. Do you understand? Because I'd always been there for her. She had always sought my counsel, and these particular women were white street women, and they couldn't understand why she would seek my counsel and not theirs. And they were hurt because these are older women who looked like me, who thought that they were sexy, but they got thigh meat that's not. It's flappy, it's unattractive, and shit. And then here I am, 50, fabulous, and fit, and I don't give a shit about my thigh meat. I also don't believe that it's anybody's business, so I wear the clothing that's appropriate to get men to lower their gaze and be respectful when speaking to me. Even though we do show out sometimes and have fun sexual banter that these women have never been attractive to a man, so they would never understand. So they take it as what used to be known as third party sexual harassment. They felt sexually uncomfortable because they can't get a man. So they take it out on the men and women who can understand, have fun at work and at home, and understand the difference. My work husband came to my house, met my family, hung out with my children, and we never crossed any type of damn boundary. You see, so respect these women who were in their feelings because of my beautiful black. They attacked me on the bus line. They followed me. My siblings didn't know. It was a separate case. There was a man who bull cornered me at the park. They didn't know. It's a separate case. It's a hate crime. So on top of the fact that all this other stuff, all of you are attached to a hate crime. Hate crimes add on extra time to criminal sentences, and they have to be proved separately from the original crime, which I'm able to do at this time. And because you were part of a criminal enterprise, it doesn't matter whether or not you knew the full scope of what was going on. Never let the right hand know what the left hand is doing is a common phrase, especially in the fair game that is Scientology. At 2:22 on your clock, 14:22 on mine. So we all know that I'm keeping up with real time. We're gonna wait for pray for a lot of people, but y'all gonna want to stop copying me because this I did live. It'll be on YouTube, and whenever YouTube finishes processing it, it'll go out. And YouTube is on my side in this. Because I'm keeping it short and sweet and under 20. It'll be out sooner than you think. And y'all keep the spirit up.